Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Mind your business. Only on Money FM 89.3.
Yes, Money FM 89.3. Time for Mind Your Business with me, Audrey Seek, and Ahmad Akhtar. So when we talk about upgrading our homes, renovating our kitchens, most of us start dreaming about sleek appliances, big ticket items like fancy countertops or modern lighting. But one thing that doesn't usually make the highlight reel, the kitchen sink.
That's right.
And yet it's probably one of the most used things in your home day in, day out.
That's right. Not all sinks are created equal, unfortunately. Some start to show wear and tear within a few years. Others can last a lifetime with the right craftsmanship and materials.
Yeah, so how do you pick one that can keep up with everyday life and look good while doing it?
We're finding out from Vinay Asdhir, who's the co-founder of Zuhne. Good morning, Vinay. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Ahmad, Audrey.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Nice to have you on. First and foremost, what is wrong with the sink of the modern day, and what is Zuhne doing about it?
I think we are influenced so heavily by social media. We look at something which looks sleek, is a nice video on it on Insta, and we say that's the one for it. You go for it, and you very quickly realize, I never thought about things which matter. Is it deep enough? Is it big enough? Like Audrey said, right? She does a lot of cooking and cleaning. So if you have dinner for 3 or 4 and then you have a really small, you'll be frustrated because you can do your prep over there. But if the kitchen sink doesn't have the space, you're going to use your countertop space. So your tiny kitchen is going to feel even more smaller. So those are the things, that don't go by looks. Think, take a deep breath, see what your usage is, how you're going to use it on a day-to-day basis, and then make a decision.
You're right. So I've seen some crazy looking sinks online. I don't know if you know about Kim Kardashian's sink. Apparently it's like a sloped, it looks very cool, but I don't know how you can wash anything in that. So when Singaporean homeowners go shopping for a sink, what are they really prioritizing these days? Is it the look? Is it the practicality? Is it always a bit of both?
Yeah, so form and function both matter. You can't have your cake and eat it too, the proverbial saying. But the function definitely stands out. It's a deal breaker. So you want a sink which is deeper, we talked about, right? Your bigger woks, you want to clean them, your bigger pots, where do you keep them, right? You want the quality of steel to last you a lifetime, like you said, Ahmad, right? You can't change a sink every 3, 5, 7 years. It's a very costly expenditure. You want the right insulation on your sinks so that, there's no condensation happening on the outside of the sink. Stainless steel sinks are noisy, so you don't want a drum, a bang, bang, bang whenever you drop a knife or a spoon. So all those things matter from a function perspective. So looking at the specs is very critical. However, like you said, we are so socially influenced today that form has to come into being. So the sink doesn't have to just work hard, it has to look good too. So you have to marry both those aesthetics when you present a viable solution to the customer.
So can you paint a picture for us and have us visualize what your sink looks like in comparison to some other sinks out there in the market and why yours is the one that people should look at?
Sure. Yeah. The first thing is you want to maximize the space that your kitchen sink takes because by itself it's just a piece of metal. The only job is to get the water out. That's basically what it does, right? So if you can use it for more stuff, then your cramped kitchen suddenly feels a lot more bigger. So what we are doing is we are making custom-built accessories for all of our kitchen sinks so that right from the food prep, chopping your onions, your tomatoes, to, then when you are making the stuff and then you want to dry the veggies that, you want to use in order to defrost your frozen meats. And after you've done with your prep and your cook to wash everything, all of that can be done seamlessly in the kitchen sink itself because now the accessories, they fit right into the sink and it feels like an extension of your countertop. So that's the biggest thing. That's the functionality that helps the house owner. Then come the tech specs like we were talking about, right? So, not all steel is the same if you're buying a steel kitchen sink. Not all granite sinks are the same if you're going for a composite quartz. So knowing, what grade of steel to buy, what thickness of the sink to to look for what kind of insulation padding needs to be there. That's where we focus our full energy on, so that when we give a solution to the customer, our sink has the best grade of steel. It's the thickest sink in the industry. It has the best industry-leading insulation. So that's how we make ourselves stand out. And at a price point, where you don't feel robbed.
Okay.
How much is that price point?
It depends on the size and the model, obviously, but anywhere from $500 to $1,000 will get you your dream sink.
Okay, so you talked about multifunctionality and a little bit about material. I do want to hone in on the material portion, because there's a whole buffet of materials out there now. Stainless steel, like you talked about. There's also granite, ceramic, and they all come with pros and cons. What is Zuhne's favorite material to use, and how should someone decide, what's best for their home, their lifestyle?
Right. There isn't a favorite, because what works for me may not work for you, right? So it's all about what kind of a cook, or more importantly, what kind of a cleaner you are. And what I mean by that is, let's look at the stainless steel, right? It's a classic workhorse. You can throw anything on it, heavy pots, pans, it's durable, it's hygienic. And if you get a good stainless steel sink, it's practically indestructible, right? So maintenance is easy. So that serves one purpose. However, if you are about style, silence, aesthetics, you want to go for a granite sink. Granite gives you beautiful colors that match your countertop. Granite also is better at resisting scratches compared to steel. It's just a hardier material, right? So it's definitely a better choice for somebody with that bent of mind. However, it's a little bit more sensitive. You don't want your curry to sit overnight in the granite sink, because you were lazy to clean off. It will, stain the sink. So it's not, what is the best. It's all about what works for you. So if you are hands-free, fuss-free, you don't want to think about anything, no maintenance on your mind, go for steel. But if something you like color, aesthetics, and you can be gentle, go for granite.
Or you can have all of the above maybe one day.
Not today.
Who's buying your sinks? What's your demographic? Who's most interested? And just to get a glimpse of how well you're doing, how many sinks are you selling right now?
So we are now close to selling more than 5,000 sinks a year.
Okay, not bad. And that's compared to how many that your counterparts are selling?
There is unfortunately no verified data. We, based on our anecdotal evidence, we think we are in the top 3 in the industry.
Okay.
Just the thing is, so many people still end up buying no-name cheap brands from Taobao, from Alibaba, that you really can't get a good estimate. But yeah, we confidently feel we are in the top 3. So our demographic is definitely the smart consumer of today, right? Very quickly, when we started selling, we realized you're not making a transaction and just selling a sink. You're catering to a smart, informed customer. They've seen their videos on TikTok and Pinterest. They've looked at all the renovation mishaps and everything. So by the time they are coming to buy a sink, they have a bucket load of information. So you need to cater to that informed customer.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things we pivoted immediately after launching was our product page is not a selling instrument. It's a content story. It tells you everything that you want to know about your sink. Even tells you what you didn't know you had to ask, right? So that was a big pivot for us, creating the right content for the smart consumer. And end of the day, consumers here want a fuss-free experience, both in terms of the product itself, but also customer service. So which is pre-sales, before buying, they'll come up with a host of questions. We have various platforms they reach out over WhatsApp, over our website chat, over Facebook, Insta. So you need to make sure you answer all the queries. And then after service, after the product is there, if anything goes wrong, you got to be there right, left, and center.
When you say the smart consumer, do you mean young professionals, couples, families?
So it's mostly the young couples and the professionals. See, with our BTO activity peaking in the last few years, especially after COVID, right? So we have so many of these young professionals and couples who are going into their first home ever, and they got to kit it all out. So those are our biggest demographic.
Yeah. So you also talked about the price point earlier, and how, some people who are very price sensitive would turn to the no brand names, the cheap ones from Taobao. So balancing this, quality, aesthetics, affordability, very key for a business like yours. How do you make sure that the price doesn't scare people off, because it's more of an investment, right?
Absolutely. I don't know if you saw our product page, but our latest kitchen sink series called Neste actually uses that. A kitchen sink is an investment.
Yeah.
It's not just a few $100s that you spend. So for us, it's never about the transactional price. It's all about how does it serve the purpose, how does it fit your lifestyle? How frequently do you cook? How large is your family? How frequently do you host guests, right? What kind of a kitchen concept do you have? Open concept kitchens are becoming more popular. So if that's the case, the seamless movement between the kitchen and the living areas is dissolving any boundaries. So your sink doesn't have to just work hard. It has to look the part also. So all those things goes into, making sure that we are giving you the right. And then end of the day, we do cater to different price points. Everyone has a budget that they need to go for. But however, for us, price only comes later. It's first, why do you need the sink? How much you're going to use it? And then we have to give you the best quality. And then, of course, it'll be at the most affordable price point we can offer to our customers.
Yeah, Vinay, I want to talk a little bit about the journey because after all, you do run a business. What are some of the challenges that you encountered along the way, whether it was from a design perspective, whether it was from trying to bring people on board with the idea? Can you elaborate a little bit more on those?
Sure. So like I was saying, the first challenge for us was people were just looking at catching video, arresting video and saying, I want that. It has 10 buttons here and there, which you really don't need, but looks good on the video. So that education part for our customer was our biggest initial challenge, just making sure they understand that this is a 20 to 25-year investment that they are doing in their kitchen, which cannot be ripped apart. You don't like a faucet, you can easily change it. You can't do for the sink, right? So that education part, creating the right content, both written content and then digital multimedia content so that they can visualize how the sink is going to be used. We don't want to just put out pictures there with different angles of the sink. We want to actually convey what the function it does. So putting all the specs and the dimensions online so that you don't have to fiddle around later and find out, I bought the wrong size, now it's 3 cm off, what do I do? Once a countertop is cut, you can't do anything. So that was one of our biggest focus. Then we very quickly realized we are a direct-to-consumer brand. We are not there out in typical retail. Customers still want to touch and feel the product. You can consume a lot of content online. You can get a fairly good idea. But people have an emotional connect with the sink, we found out, because it's in the kitchen. That's where the food goes. So they wanted to touch and feel. So we put up a display studio so that where the whole range is displayed, people come in, touch and feel, and then they start appreciating the quality that is behind the sink. A very simple thing we do is ask the customers to just knock on the sink. Do you get a hollow, echoey noise that's typical of most of the industry sinks, or do you get a more reassuring thud, which is how your kitchen sink will react after usage day in and day out.
Where is this display center?
Oh, yeah. We are in Wisma Atria, the office tower. So we want it to be right in the center, convenient for everyone, right next to the MRT. So we are in Wisma Atria office tower. If you want to come by, we are open 5 days of the week and Saturday mornings.
Fantastic. So you did mention that you guys are mainly B2C. Have you thought of working with maybe designers or renovators to make sure that this brand connects with the right audience? Or do people have to look you guys up directly if they're interested in buying one of your sinks?
Absolutely. Engagement with designers, interior IDs, architects is a big focus for us. The challenge for us was we started out fresh without a 100-year-old history like some of the other international brands. So it's taken time to get that trust, and it's been one satisfied customer at a time. But that absolutely is one of our focus areas, Audrey. We have, schemes and programs with our IDs where we showcase them the product so that when they are talking to their customers, they can make a more informed selection and recommendation to the customers, because end of the day, it's their name associated with the project also. The customers don't think, the sink is not your, but if you've recommended it, the ID name absolutely gets associated with that.
Okay.
One final question, Vinay. Back in the early days, I'm just curious, especially for listeners who perhaps want to start a sink business one day and emulate you and your co-founder. Funding-wise, are you guys self-funded? What's the kind of investor profile, and how difficult was it to draw investor interest in your business?
Yeah, we are a very different business than most of the new tech startups. We are a totally self-funded startup. So we've taken measured growth steps, right? So you can go all out, then you'll need a lot of funding. However, what we found was, quote unquote, we are an unsexy industry. We are not a tech product. So getting people to appreciate the brand for what we do is a much more harder sell to a potential investor. So we went the self-funded way. We've grown incrementally. However, we are now at a stage where we feel rocket fire is our fuel. We've grown 2x over the last 2 years.
Wow.
As folks have more, appreciated the quality we bring in. And from here on now, we are just going to expand our product categories, bring the same thoughtfulness, the quality, and the price to value equation to other products. And then, the word is our oyster.
The world is your oyster. And what a fantastic journey you've been on with Zuhne, from the materials that make a difference to what really counts when you want a sink that lasts. Vinay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate having you here.
Thank you for having me, Audrey and Imad. It was great talking to you.
Yep, thanks for sinking your teeth into the conversation. Vinay Asdhir is the co-founder of Zuhne. Stay with Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.